Hello everyone. So hope all of you fine and great. So today we'll be learning about articles of association. What is this articles of association? In case if you have not watched my MOA, that is Memorandum of Association, please watch that video first, then only come back to this video, or else it'll be completely like a blank state for you. Only then you'll understand what is the entire crux I'm going to explain today. Okay. Now let's understand what is this AOA. That is called Articles of Association, and this comes under Section 2, Subclause 2. Okay. Section 2, Subclause 2. I have not mentioned it over there, but for the time being, you can write it down. Okay. Yes. Now, so what is there? What is the meaning of articles of association? It is basically playing a very important role for understanding the internal adjustment as well as rules and regulations of a company. So, under articles of association, remember, it is basically for setting up as well as for understanding the rules and regulations of a company. All the rules and regulations, where will you be mentioning? In your MOA? No, it will be mentioning in your articles of association. And under MOA, we can find an AOA. So, under MOA, Memorandum of Association itself, you can find this article of association. It is also helpful for MOA a lot. So, for a company to be very proper and very structured, they require an MOA. Along with that, they require an AOA. Without rules and regulation, tell me which institution will run properly. Can your school run properly? Can your college run properly? No, impossible, right? So we require articles of association, a set of guidelines for anything to function. Now let's see what is the nature of an AOA. Okay, nature of articles of association. Point number one. Article of association is a subordinate of MOA. So article of association is a subordinate of memorandum of association. It is controlled by memorandum of association. Remember, AOA is controlled by memorandum of association. Third point, it helps in achieving objects laid down in MOA. So it helps in achieving the objects. What and all were the objects of the MOA? This will basically be reflected in our articles of association. Now, fourth point, it helps an important role for internal regulations as well as all the internal regulations of a company. Who will help us? AOA will provide a proper roadmap. For example, you want to go to your home from your college. That roadmap on how you need to go, where you need to go, what rules you need to do, what bus you have to take, what auto you have to take, that rules and regulation, no, or how you're supposed to behave in the road. All that system you'll be finding in an AOA. I'm just giving an example, okay? So internal regulations and helps in governance of a company. So all the aspects regarding the governance of a company, that will be basically in an AOA. So first we learned about subordinate. It is controlled by MOA. It is an object laid down in MOA. It helps in internal regulation and governance of a company. Now let's see what are the contents of an AOA. What all is there inside an articles of association? First thing, it mentions about what rights of shareholders. So guys, if you know who are the shareholders, they invest their share in the company. For example, they are the true owners of a company. Actually, these shareholders are the true owners of the company. Okay, so in this, the in article of association will be showing about what should be the minimum subscription, how much should be the minimum subscription, what should be the rights of application and allotment of the share. So this AOA will be mentioning about what should be the minimum subscription. Along with it, they'll be telling about what is the functionality, what is the responsibility of the shareholders, all the directors. Along with it, rights and application and allotment of shares. What should be the rights, what is should be the application, what should be the allotment of shares. Everything will be mentioned in this AOA, articles of association. Second one is about rights on calls on shares. So there's something called as first calling, second calling, third calling, and all, you know, right? When this shares happen. So similar way, all the calls of the shares will also be mentioned in this articles of association. Along with that, right to forfeiture of the shares, when they can forfeiture of shares. For example, there is first calling and second calling. I don't respond to this calls itself. At that point of time, they will forfeiture my own share. Okay, after calling, if they don't respond, no, then they will forfeiture my own share, and that they'll be using it for other kind of assets purposes. So all that call is basically mentioned in this article of association, how it's going to be done, all the formalities. Rights to surrender of the shares. What are the how, when they can surrender the rights, surrender of the shares, and right to lien on shares. So all this is basically mentioned on where it is mentioned on articles of association. So guys, this concept plays a very important role. Rights of shareholders, rights to call on shares, everything will be mentioned on where it will be mentioned, where it will be mentioned on articles of an association. Now, if you observe into the next point, here, if you about right on appointment of directors and reappointment, that is also mentioned in our AOA. And right appointment of auditors, appointment of CS, company secretary, what should be a salary, what should be their allowance, what would be their remuneration, everything will be covered up in this entire aspect of AOA, Articles of Association. Rights on holding meeting, when to hold the meeting, how often we should hold the meeting, what should be the alteration of the capital, increase or decreasing of the capital. So, and as well as rights regarding winding up of the company, everything is covered up in this AOA. So you can take a screenshot of my notes. I hope you could understand it in a very simplified manner, because AOA, it is basically coming under the ambute of, and objectivity comes under the MOA. It's like a rules and regulations, which is basically objects laid down in MOA that will be understanding much clearly. Like, it is basically for internal regulation, helps in governance of a company. Contents, what are the things in AOA? Mention about rights of the shareholders, rights of the directors of a company, board of directors. What should be the minimum subscription? How much? When should they call for applications? As well as forfeitures of shares, surrender of the shares, withdrawal of the company. What should be the procedure for the withdrawal of the company? How can we appoint a company secretary? What should be how? What's the formality for applying? Upgrading the board of directors. So all that we are being understanding through the form of an articles of association. All that will be mentioned over there. So that's all for today's video. Hope you liked it. If you do like it, please do like, share, and subscribe, and do let me know your views in the comments. And in next video, we'll be seeing the comparison between memorandum of association and articles of association. We'll be comparing the differentiation between both. Okay. Until then, take care and wish you all the best. Good luck.